Hi, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Daily's Dose. And it's the last one for the semester. As always, I'm Gianna Ortner-Findlay, the managing editor of the North Texas Daily.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aiden Gonzalez, and I am the digital editor for the North Texas Daily.
And we're your hosts who do the most.
Wait, Gianna, what do you mean this is the last episode of the semester?
Well, we aren't able to record next week because we do record bi-weekly.
Yes.
And then the week after that is school is over. It's summertime,
official.
which is crazy. It feels like the semester just started at the same time.
It felt
feels
long.
like it's been one of the longest semesters of my collegiate career in both good and bad ways.
For sure.
But at least for this semester, this is unfortunately the last time we'll be recording a podcast episode for y'all. However, there is a possibility if we are able to, we'll bring it back in the summer. And so y'all have a summer season of episodes listening to us yap.
Yep.
But if not, then we'll go ahead and work on some content ideas for y'all. Maybe hopefully do more guest episodes in the fall. Have more episodes for y'all starting at the very beginning of the semester. And maybe do some other fun things as well. So if y'all don't hear from us over the summer, please know that we'll be working on content for y'all.
Yes.
So, are you ready to get into the last one?
Yes. Let's get into some hot topics.
Okay, don't sound too sad.
I know. This is a bittersweet moment.
As Sabrina Carpenter says, it's like a don't cry because it happened, baby, smile because it's over, or something like that.
I was thinking like that's not me espresso, but we are.
Yeah, no, it's a lyric. I might have flipped it, but
Right.
who knows?
I mean, it sounds like something she would say.
It's a song.
Yeah.
Just.
Okay. So I don't want to spend too much time on Coachella.
Okay, yeah.
But we just need to wrap it up. Weekend 2 passed while we were having our off week. So I read some articles. The company hosting Coachella, the Valley Music and Arts Festival, publicly apologized for the traffic issues that they had in weekend 1. So remember how we talked about how some people were waiting in the cars for upward of 12 hours?
Yeah.
Enough people complained, and they made the host do something about it. So congratulations for people speaking up.
Yeah.
And for the music festival listening.
Yeah,
period.
because sometimes that doesn't happen.
It does not happen, but I feel like Coachella, this is like such like a community thing. I would hope they would listen to the people.
Yeah, especially because they're putting so much money into it, and a
So
good
much.
majority of the money that they get from the people, like their tickets,
Yeah.
their housing, parking, all of that stuff basically goes into how the festival runs, how it goes.
Yeah.
Also, I was incorrect. It's a don't smile because it happened, baby. Cry because it's over. So I guess you can cry.
I was like, that's not happy. That's still sad.
I guess you can cry. It's "Don't Smile" by Sabrina Carpenter. It's from her It's from her latest album, which I reviewed.
Which one?
The short and sweet. Yeah, I reviewed it last fall.
Do you think she's gonna drop
shout
soon?
out. Well, I mean, she just released her deluxe version of that album, like a couple weeks ago. There's some really good hits on that. Like 15 Minutes is really fun. Busy Woman, those are really fun. According to my DJX, I am in the top 4% of Sabrina Carpenter listeners.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say anything because I'm like the same with like Nicki Minaj, but
yeah, no,
sure.
I just really, I don't know. I vibe with her. It's like she does something really fun where it's kind of like that playful mix between like bordering on indie music with like a pop punk princess.
Yeah.
And it's kind of very similar to the way that like the style of music that made Taylor Swift very popular after
Really?
she branched out of country.
I was about to say, I thought she started with
she started with country and then she
Yeah.
kind of like ventured into this kind of like strut pop music era. Which is kind of where Sabrina Carpenter is, as well as Olivia Rodrigo. They all kind of fall into this niche of like powerful women, like pop punk, and I really like that because like it just kind of like the vibe really gets you up and gets you going.
That plus like they're really young too, so I'm like, I'm actually excited to see what they plan for the future.
Yeah, like just because they're at the very beginning of their careers in the music industry, at least for Olivia Rodrigo and Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah, they're both in their 20s, right?
Yeah,
For sure.
They're definitely both in their early
Like,
20s.
early mid-20s.
I believe Sabrina Carpenter might be mid to late 20s. I think she's only like 25 or something like that.
Yeah.
But like I remember her from Girls Meets World.
That's how I remember her too.
Like
Those who know, you know.
Yeah, I remember her from that show. I remember being enthralled with it and going, "Oh my gosh, this reminds me of iCarly." Like like the blonde brunette like best friends. Like I also fell victim to this when I was younger. I was the brunette best friend, and then I had my blonde best friend. Ooh. Like, so like the dichotomy of Disney Channel shows like falling into real life. But yeah, so I remember her from that, and then also like seeing her branch out into kind of, again, like we were talking a couple episodes ago, like growing up basically in her career as an actress as well as a musician, because she was also in a couple like movies on Netflix. Tall Girl.
Yes, she did.
She was the older sister, I believe, fulfilling the older sister shorter than the younger sister dichotomy, because I am also a victim of that as well. I am the older sister.
Are you like low-key Sabrina Carpenter?
I actually might be. That's like why I'm wearing this.
Wow, you really are trying. Wait.
Yeah, no, guys, like it's blonde under here.
Notice.
I mean, it is blonde, like a little bit, like but nah, I am not Sabrina Carpenter. However, I do love her. But in any case, back to Coachella.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I got a little off topic. I'm sorry.
So let's talk about some things that happened during weekend 2 of Coachella.
Yes.
Did you hear about Lady Gaga's performance and how she had a mic malfunction?
I think I saw maybe one thing about how like basically like her mic shut off.
Yes.
But I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, so she was singing, I forgot the end. She was ending a song and her mic was cutting in and out right before she was about to go on stage and sing Abracadabra.
Oh my gosh.
The biggest hit. All the people would eat this up. This is what we wanted.
Yeah.
But even though her mic was cutting off, she still kept it professional. She still was like singing, even though you can't really tell, but her mouth was moving.
Yeah.
And so all you can hear, there's no backtracks. Keep in mind, she live sings. So all you can hear is just like the beats and stuff, and it's just quiet. And then within like 30 seconds, someone gives her a mic and she just hops right back on like nothing happened.
Yeah, I also saw there was a couple of videos of her basically like metal screaming her lyrics. And people were like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know Lady Gaga was like that." And it's like,
oh, so you're not a true fan.
Yeah, like dude, have you listened to her music?
This is nothing new?
Have you listened to her music before? Yeah, she can do that. But also it's just, again, like we were talking about last time when we discussed Coachella, she's a very physical and in-depth, like involved performer. She does it. Like she does it.
She's the pop icon.
Yeah, and
literally
she's been that girl like the entire time that she's been in the industry. Exactly.
Yes. But yes, she once again proved that she doesn't need to rely on backtracks. And she live sings everything. She low-key threw shade the weekend 1. She was like, "Yeah, when you go to my concerts, I don't just rely on like backtracks. I actually sing and stuff." And I was like,
yikes.
Who is she throwing shade at? I don't know.
Well, honestly, there's a lot of people there's a lot of people in the industry that rely very heavily on backing tracks. But then also there's the amount of people that even if they live sing, like I know that like especially like speaking of Sabrina Carpenter, like a lot of the times where she like sings, people are like, "Oh, well, that's not actually her singing. She just like lip syncs."
Yeah.
And it's like, no, she has her layered backing vocals.
Yeah.
Because if she didn't have the harmonies that are in the studio recording of the song, you'd be like, "Oh, well, that's not the same thing. It sounds terrible live." Yeah. Like, so you kind of have to balance the fact that, yes, the people that are on stage are going to be singing live, but they can't sing all of those things at once.
Unless you're Lady Gaga?
Well, I mean, even Lady Gaga does do some backing vocals, but the majority of her music is based off of one singular main vocal, and then overlaying harmonies. But then even with those overlaying harmonies, she is the main voice. So, like, it's not necessarily that she doesn't rely on them at all. It's just that she doesn't rely on them as heavily, and it's just because she makes a different kind of music. And so I feel like if you're gonna judge somebody for using backing vocals, you also have to understand that, like, when you sing a song in the car and you try to hit every single note that person is singing, it sounds bad. Like you can't sing that live. So why do you think they could?
I definitely could sing that live.
You can sing 3 different notes at the same time.
Pop out to next week's episode.
The one that we're not having because we record bi-weekly.
Exclusive only. Sorry, guys. Y'all can't hear that, but
It's okay. I probably wouldn't hop on.
Oh, cut this episode. But
listening to you try to sing it karaoke style. Ugh.
Depends on the song. I low-key could.
If you sing the main vocal, I'm there for you.
Okay, and what about the backup vocals?
Yeah, for sure. But you can't sing all three of them at the same time.
Trust, I'll find a way.
Okay, actually, I'll wait.
Believe in me.
I'll believe in you. I'll wait and see.
Yes, but which led me to think people started speculating that the mic was being cut off for a reason and it was on purpose. I was like, I don't think so. But then I started to realize throughout like performances, like in concerts and events, this is like a frequent thing. Oh. Like people's mics will just like randomly cut off and glitch. Yeah. And I was like, if you know you're gonna perform at a concert or an event, be prepared for the worst possible situation.
Yeah.
If I'm singing on stage, and especially if I'm like, okay, let's say I'm Sabrina Carpenter and my mic cuts off. I know all of these people are paid good money to see me sing. Mm-hmm. I would want at least 5 people in the backstage with the mic ready on standby.
Yeah, the majority of them do have backup mics because for the most part, I think it's not lav mics, but it's like it's a type of microphone that is attached to the headset and or kind of like musical theater. It's attached to their forehead. And so like it's a spot in which it can still be like attached, but like you can pick up all of the sound without them basically being limited by a handheld mic, which is why they prefer to have those kinds of microphones. But honestly, having a backup is like kind of key to these live performances.
Have a backup to the backup.
If you don't have backups, then you're basically kind of like up a creek without a paddle.
Yeah, you just robbed everyone's money.
Yeah, and then they also rely very heavily when these mishaps happen on basically the crowd knowing the lyrics, which is really, really awkward, especially when they're like not, especially in the middle of a song, and they're like, all right, sing out, and then like.
There are some artists who like literally do that.
Yeah.
Like, I went to the Nicki concert, and there was some parts where she wasn't even singing. She was letting the crowd sing. Yeah. Low-key part of me was frustrated. I was like, I paid to see you sing. Please sing to me.
Like, sometimes it's cute, but sometimes it's like, dude, like, if you're tired, like, I'm sorry, that's not my fault.
Like, you just said, like, one word out of this whole song, and it's like, okay, I want to sing it with you. That's the whole
exactly.
Purpose.
That's the whole purpose of a concert, is to go there, sing your heart out.
It's not to get along, sing along.
Yeah, like, with the artist, rather than, like, singing for the artist.
And she's just, like, admiring it all. I'm like, no, get on that mic and sing, please.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel.
That's interesting, though.
Yeah. Which... We'll just go to the next topic. I was like, how can I transition this? Okay. Gianna, Ortner-Findlay.
Yes.
Have you heard about the all-female space expedition that happened a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
That left the public confused on why it took place in the first place.
Yes.
Low-key, I didn't. Low-key, I did not really know. Until it wasn't, I was on like social media and then I saw a familiar name pop up. Katy Perry.
Yeah. Did you also see that when they landed, Katy Perry got on all fours and started drinking water out of the ground?
I thought she was kissing the floor. I saw that.
No, she was like licking the floor. She was like, we have to protect our Mother Earth or whatever. And I saw these memes where it's like, you know, those like life straws where it's like, where it's like you can like drink the water out of the straw if it's like dirty water.
Yeah.
They were like, why do we have life straws when we have billionaires drinking water, drinking puddles of water off of the floor?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, she might have been kissing it, but it literally looks like she's licking the ground. It's actually hilarious.
Wow. Coming from Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Low-key that tracks, but maybe she's still so thankful for Earth.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for a little backstory, Katy Perry plus 5 other women being NASA rocket scientists. How do you say their names?
I believe it's Aisha Bao or Aisha Bao.
Aisha Bao. Then we have civil rights activist Amanda Nguyen, CBS presenter Gayle King, and then film producer Kariana Flynn, and Jeff Bezos' fiance Lauren Sanchez participated in this space flight for Bezos' Blue Origin New Shepard rockets.
Yeah.
So the whole trip lasted around 11 minutes and took them about 62 miles above Earth.
11 minutes?
11 minutes. I saw a TikTok. People were like, things that lasted longer than the whole trip. It was like half an episode of SpongeBob. Yikes. When I saw that, I was like, half an episode of SpongeBob is longer than this expedition.
Yeah, that's actually crazy.
A cartoon, yeah. But I'm just curious on why they actually went. When they landed back to Earth, each woman came out and was relieved and was excited to be back on Earth.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, like the media and the public only fixated on Katy's experience.
Yeah,
with the familiar name.
Yeah, so for this, I'm familiar with some of the stories on here. But what frustrates me so much is that this expedition was supposed to be like kind of like a beneficial thing for science. Like the scientists that went up there were performing experiments that actually were supposed to benefit science.
So they didn't go for the gag.
No, they didn't go just to go. Like Amanda, she went with I believe like 100 something lotus flower seeds, and that research that's going to be up there, basically like is going to study how zero gravity or non-gravity like affects plant growth. Like, and also like there were other instances of like other female like astronauts going up and studying things that affect like how it affects like female reproductive systems like in space flight. So like it really frustrates me that not only is the media only focusing for the most part on Katy Perry or Jeff Bezos' fiance or the other lady Gayle King, like that their story and like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe like it was a useless flight or whatever, which I mean for those three women kinda it was, they were just going as a space tourist essentially, which like emits like thousands of like carbon emissions, like they were just going to go, which just is extremely infuriating. But like the fact that we're also forgetting the people that deserve to go on the flight and the people that like went on the flight to like, you know, do research and like worked their way up there is so infuriating. Like it's
Loki, I didn't even know any of that. I thought they just went just for the vibes.
Yeah,
I didn't know
they were going
purpose.
To do their jobs.
Wow.
Like as scientists, they were going to do their jobs, but they also were tacked on to this kind of like all-female girl power trip. Like, and honestly, don't get me wrong, I'm all for like female empowerment and like go women, but like also at the same time, if it's just this like performative aspect of it for these women that quite frankly are just there to be there. Yeah. That is infuriating. Like I would have much rathered an entire female astronaut space crew. They were up there doing their jobs. They were being scientists. And the fact that the only reason that the scientists were able to go for the most part, it feels like, is because these three women wanted to go, like the three famous women wanted to go, is just so heartbreaking because they worked so hard, especially Amanda.
Yeah. And especially like some of these people who have money too, they're like, oh, I can afford it. Sure, let me just go.
Yeah. And
for $28 million a seat.
Yeah. And it's like that compared to basically buying your seat as compared to working your way to the top.
Yeah, and earning it.
And earning your seat, that is a completely different topic.
Yeah. Well, speaking of different topics, this same topic, but from the internet perspective, people think all of this is a hoax and it's fake.
That they didn't even go?
Yeah.
What?
Let me break it down for you. So people don't think the ladies actually traveled to space in the first place.
Oh, goodness.
There's a video of the capsule that landed with a huge camera crew not too far from where the capsule landed. So the fact that there was already camera crews and photographers there on standby, one, either yes, they knew where it was going to land, but there was so many press there.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that there was so much press right next to it is kind of concerning.
Yes.
However, they do calculate that. Like, they calculate where the landing site is to rather, like, precise locations, like longitude, latitude.
Yeah.
So that's not entirely weird, but the amount of press definitely is a little odd.
Another thing, people notice, there's another video going around of Bezos walking around the capsule, and he accidentally trips, and he tries to, like, catch himself by putting his hand on the capsule. If it just came from falling from space, it's going to be burning hot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was another clip that later shows like Bezos' hand, and he's perfectly fine.
Interesting. It might not have been, not to make excuses,
yeah,
but it might not have been as directly after as people are assuming.
That's what I thought too. And then another thing, there's other clips of capsules that came down from like SpaceX, and it's all like torched, burnt, looked like it went through some stuff. The fact that the capsule looks perfectly fine, not a scratch on it.
Yeah, that is a little
weird.
That
is where it seems a little fishy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but like I do believe they went. But it's just something to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
Why doesn't it have like the marks?
Like visible damage from entering and exiting the atmosphere. Yeah.
And then another one saying these ladies were wearing jewelry and astronauts know not to wear anything loose because it could happen. Something can happen to malfunction inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. And then the one thing that really stumped me on is, have you seen the video of Katy Perry holding the daisy?
Mm-mm.
So there's a video of her having the daisy before she gets on the spaceship expedition, and then her recording in space, still holding the daisy.
Yeah.
And then her walking out the capsule still with a daisy. And people are saying, how does this daisy look perfectly fine after it just went through intense acceleration and microgravity with no damage?
Yeah, it would show something.
Something, but no, it's still perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's really weird.
That's all I'm saying. It's fishy.
But yeah, so for me, I feel like, again, there were 2 scientists aboard that expedition, and I don't think that they would lie.
I don't think so either.
I don't think they would lie. So I do think that they went up. Like, I definitely think that they went on, like, the expedition. But I think, again, for some of those things, like, maybe someone was waiting in the wings with jewelry or, like, a replacement daisy or something like that, just to kind of make it appear as if it was perfect. However, the only thing that I can't really, like, justify is the lack of damage on the outside of the capsule.
And then outfits too. Did you see what they were wearing? Look, they slayed the outfits though.
No, I did not. All I saw was the suits.
Yeah, the suits.
Oh, okay.
The outfit suits.
Yeah.
So I would think they would wear like proper attire since you're gonna go in literally space.
Yeah.
No, they had like some suits that had very deep necklines and stilettos.
Stilettos?
They were wearing stilettos when they went on that capsule.
Why would you wear heels?
Which is another thing. If you're going to space, do you think heels is the smartest?
No,
choice?
You're supposed to have like boots, like special issued boots.
Yeah, so something's not adding up. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really weird.
And then, so that was like all of that. And so now the public found out about everything that's happened, and now people are just throwing shit at Katy because she's like the one who's like more known out of all of them.
She's also, quite frankly, the one that I believe like had the most absurd reaction to returning to space, returning to Earth, basically.
Kissing the floor and drinking the water.
Kissing the floor, like possibly licking water off of the desert ground, being like, we have to protect our Mother Earth. Like
literally
weird,
tomato. Like you just spent like $28.
Yeah, we have to protect our Mother Earth, but like I also just spent $28 million and like had like thousands of carbon like emissions like for an 11-minute trip.
Yeah,
but we have to save Mother Earth. Don't forget.
But like, yeah, I kissed the floor, so it kind of made up for it.
Yeah, of course.
Right. Anyways,
equilibrium.
So when the public found out about Katy going, they took to the internet to laugh and mock her. Oh my God. The X account of Pop Crave. Do you know that account?
I feel like it sounds very familiar.
It's like very like media newsy.
Yeah.
X account. So they posted that Katy returned from the expedition. And then Wendy's, the food chain, replied with, "Can we send her back?" Oh, someone from Wendy's management said that.
No, the relatively recent trend of like all of the fast food chains having like the most unhinged accounts are actually so hilarious. Like, do you remember the fast food wars?
Yes.
Those things were so funny. They had me cackling. I was rooting for Wendy's. Honestly, quite frankly, Wendy's had the best clapbacks. It was
they did.
It was so funny.
Their marketing team deserve a raise.
Yeah, literally.
Because I was like, oh, why do I crave Wendy's all of a sudden?
Yeah, it's like, can we send her back ET style? Like
that's crazy. I was like, can I verify this is Wendy?
Yeah, that's so funny.
They had that check mark. But so I didn't know another thing that is Katy Perry is currently on tour. Did you know that?
What? No.
Yeah. So
I had no clue that she was on tour. How did she take a break from tour
to go to space?
Don't know. Did she just not get enough seats filled? Like
I don't know. So there's a clip going around the media of Katy giving little to no effort while performing. It's giving. I saw the clip. No smiles, no jokes, no laughing, no entertainment, no excitement whatsoever.
This is after the spaceflight?
I think this was before.
Oh.
Yeah. And it gave off the vibe that I'm only here because I'm getting paid to. Just singing, literally moving down side to side.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. It's like I feel like for people that are in the industry for that long, Like, because Katy's been in the industry since the early 2000s,
Yeah.
maybe late 1990s. Like, she's been here for a hot
She's
minute.
been here for a while.
And I feel like it gets to that point where you, like, are like, oh, well, they're just going to follow me because of my name. Nah, queen.
You gotta
kind of continue to earn that.
Yes.
Like, you can't just expect that your fans are gonna follow you wherever, because like they're not. Like, part of the whole thing with the Snow White debacle with Rachel Zegler.
Yes.
And she was like, well, I know that my fans are gonna show up for me regardless of what I'm in. They didn't.
What were you in?
They didn't. The Snow White bombed to the point that I actually said that I don't know if it was just Snow White, but I think one of the other more recent live action films, so I think it is Snow White, basically inspired Disney to no longer make live action films for at least the time being, because of how badly that film performed. So basically they're going and focusing on other projects. So everything that was already in development, they're going to finish out and do, like Moana. But because Snow White bombed so badly, they're basically like saying that there's no market for this right now and we need to do something else.
Maybe this would be a good thing for Disney. They could be creative and come up with original stories.
Yeah, and the other thing with that is that, I saw is that in Hollywood, we're all like, oh, well, we want original stories. We want stories that are original. We want things that are interesting, but then we don't show up for it as an audience. So like for the most part, a lot of original storytelling and a lot of original films that have come out within the last year have basically like not done as well as sequels.
Really?
And so basically they're doing what we're telling them to do by where we're spending our money. So if we want to actually get these original films, we need to show up and show out. Like, but the other thing here is that they also need to be quality, because there are a lot of instances in which we've got original, interesting films that are bombing, not because they're original, but because they're not told in a way that's interesting to the crowd.
Yeah.
So I think one really good example of something that is really interesting that is original, that is doing very well right now, is Sinners. Sinners is doing phenomenal right now in the box office. And we actually have a review coming out about that from the North Texas Daily. So shout out to Jake Wilkinson for that. That'll be coming out here
Disney
shortly.
produce this?
No.
Oh.
But just in general, just utilizing a new, like, it was independently produced. But basically just utilizing like an example of a film that was original and interesting and has a format that is interesting to the viewers, to the point that they are showing up in the box office and saying, I want this, I want to listen to this, I want to see this. And so I feel like what really the balance needs to be is that while we're requesting all of these new and original stories, we also have to recognize that in order for them to be worthy, quote, or like worthwhile for the production companies, is if they make money. If we don't go, if moviegoers do not go to the box office, they have no indication that that film is successful. So
I guess we can say like, oh, we love this, but without
physically showcasing it like monetarily, because Hollywood runs on money. Hollywood bleeds green.
Yes.
Like, if you do not showcase that you like something by going to the movie theater, buying it, and talking about it, then they're not going to know,
From
and
the
they're
producer's point of view,
they're not going to pursue that at all.
Which makes sense.
So I feel like that again kind of does correlate with Katy Perry's lackluster performance here. Is just the fact that she's expecting people to like Hollywood, she's expecting people to show up and show out regardless, because she's Katy Perry. Yeah. And that's not how that works.
And maybe she got away with it back in the 2010s, but now
she's not as relevant anymore. And like, I'm sorry, but just because your husband's Orlando Bloom doesn't make me want to care about you.
Oh, wait.
Like, I did like her music, but almost all of her songs that I actually did like are from her early career.
Yeah.
And it's just simply because I feel like, again, this is another unfortunate thing that happens in the music industry. She lost her sound.
Ooh, you think so?
And it's not because she didn't want to pursue that same sound, but it's because the sound of the music industry changed.
Yeah.
Every single song from 10 years ago sounds the same. It's because that was what was popular. And every single song nowadays sounds the same. And it's because that's what's popular. And so, but at the same time, people are also like, well, every single song sounds the same. I don't want to listen to this. But then when you actually have artists step out of that, we attack them. And so it's like, we as an industry, basically, as like the people that are consuming this, are not doing what we're asking, essentially. We want them to branch out, but then when they do, we attack them. But then when they don't branch out, we attack them.
Attack them. Either way, they're getting attacked.
They can't win. And so it's like, I don't want to talk bad on Katy Perry, but also at the same time, like, girl, like, you kind of got to put in the work.
Well, talking about on Katy Perry.
Yeah.
I saw a video of one of her concerts. She was singing California Girls, Love.
Yeah.
Well, her set stage was a big toilet, like a really big toilet.
Toilet?
Ew. Toilet. And her sitting on like rolls of toilet paper, just singing. And yeah. Well, that's not even the worst part. There was a big dancing, how do I say this nicely?
There was
poop.
There was excrement on stage? Dancing around?
That in the toilet, dancing around in the toilet. Next to Katy Perry, and she just like high fives the dancing poop.
Oh my gosh. Talk about going downhill.
The whole
set,
literally, the whole set gave Nickelodeon.
Yeah, no, it's like, I feel like she might be trying to like revive that kind of like 2016 shark era moment. Like, she's trying to like make that like be all funny again, but literally like, that just makes it seem like you don't care about your artistry anymore. To you, it's no longer artistry.
No.
Like, that's, wow. That's actually crazy.
Some of the comments had me hollering. Someone said, she went to space to promote this?
Yeah.
Question mark. And then someone said, it's an accurate representation of her tour, though.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, fair.
I didn't even know she had a tour.
She was on tour, exactly.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, I mean, I guess if it's that bad, like, oh my gosh. But honestly, I think also, rather than like, you know, continuing to dog on Katy Perry, we can also talk about like the people that did deserve to be on that flight.
Yes.
So I have quite a couple of notes on Amanda, just because her story is just so interesting.
I didn't even know she had a story.
No, because again, they're so focused on the famous people or the more famous people and the absurdity of them going to space for 11 minutes. But we are not focusing on the people who did deserve to be on the flight. So I'm going to really briefly talk about that.
It takes me 11 minutes to walk across campus.
No, literally.
So the whole time I was walking across campus, Katy Perry went up and down.
Yeah, no, that's actually so crazy. But so additionally on the flight, like we said earlier, was bioastronautics research scientist and civil rights activist Amanda Nguyen. Amanda Nguyen, thank you. Who was an incredible, has an incredible journey, and I really suggest following her on Instagram to get like the whole breadth of it. But I'm gonna break it down a little bit for you guys, so just kind of bear with me. So Amanda has always really wanted to be an astronaut. It's been her dream. She also maybe wanted to be like a spy in the CIA. Like, she wanted to just be a really inspiring and powerful woman. And she is right now as well. But basically, she attended Harvard, pursuing a astrophysics degree back in 2013 or so. Also, before I continue, content warning a little bit. This does talk about her journey of surviving a sexual assault. So, continuing. So basically, back in 2013 or so, 3 months before she graduated, she was brutally assaulted, virtually halting her trajectory to NASA. And so for the most part, when a survivor is brought in for this type of crime, they have two options, or at least Amanda was presented two options, to have the rape kit completed under her name or to have it done anonymously as Jane Doe. And at the time, she didn't believe that she had the time or the resources, quite frankly, as a almost newly graduated Harvard student to pursue anything. So she chose to do it anonymously.
Yeah.
And so according to an article in The Guardian by Anna Moore, I reference this one quite frequently. We'll most likely hyperlink the article that I utilize in here in the comments later. So if you want to read it, I highly suggest doing so. She was told by Amanda, she was told that an anonymous rape kit would be stored in case she decided to file charges until the statute of limitations was up, which is about 15 years in Massachusetts. And so she did the test. She went home, violated, bruised, and with a $4,000 medical bill and a buttload of paperwork where at the back, it showed her that all rape kits would be destroyed after 6 months. And so furthermore, further on in the Guardian article, they discuss how she was also told that a prosecution of her crime, if she chose to pursue it, would take an average of 2 to 3 years, and there was a 1% conviction rate. So not only would it take the courts longer to prosecute it, by the time that they even finished prosecuting it, the kit would have been destroyed 1.5 to 2 years prior. So they would have had basically no physical evidence to actually prosecute. What does that make? It doesn't. Precisely. It doesn't make any sense because you would think that the kit would stay as long as the statute would stay. Yeah. So instead of pursuing her dreams of space, Amanda kept her feet firmly planted on the ground. And she founded a grassroots survivor movement called RISE. And so basically they fight for and advocate for survivors to make, and they made the Sexual Assault Survivors Bill of Rights, which was signed into law by then President Obama in 2016, which included the right to have your rape kit be saved until the statute of limitations expired and to not have to pay for the kit to be conducted. So basically the things that she went through, she went to court and basically filed for bills, and she got them passed so that no other woman or victim would have to deal with that.
That's crazy. You have to pay just for the kit?
You did. Yes. And so the only crime I could find that you had to pay to have evidence collected, because that is what that kit is an evidence collection, was sex crimes. So that was the only type of crime that I could find that would do that. And so at the time, basically, that was the only one. Now, in basically every state, it is the standard that you don't have to pay for it, and it'll stay until the statute of limitations is done. And the bare minimum. The bare minimum, actually, absolutely. And the fact that it was not it was only passed, I believe, in 2016. Yeah, that's 9 years ago. And so she's additionally written a memoir. It's called Saving Five. And through RISE, they have successfully passed 91 laws over the last decade. And they're pursuing, quote, an international treaty that gives universal jurisdiction for rape cases. Because currently, so basically, if you're assaulted abroad. Yeah. And then because currently the only crimes that have that are, I believe, murder, manslaughter, and drug cases. So virtually the rest of crime. So Amanda was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize and in 2019 and was Time Magazine's Woman of the Year in 2022. And then over a decade since her assault and her fractured dream, Amanda became the first Vietnamese woman to go to space. And so she was again, flying on the Blue Origin rocket. And then all astronauts are instructed to bring a 0G indicator, which basically means that it's what kind of floats up and indicates that you've hit no gravity. And Amanda brought 2, but one of them was a promise that she made to herself when she left the hospital. And it was a note that said, never, never, never give up. And so she brought that with her.
That was deep.
Yeah, no, it's really, really sweet. But basically, so again, that's just a snippet of her story. There's so much more that I could go on with. But yeah, no, so she absolutely deserved to be on that journey. She deserved to be there. And then again, she did her job. She went up there to go do research because she's a scientist.
Meanwhile, we're just hey, Katy Perry went.
Exactly. That's why I was so frustrated. That's why it's so frustrating that we're focusing on these celebrities that, quite frankly, didn't need to go up there, and we're not listening to...
She needed to fill those seats in her tour.
Oh my gosh. We're not listening to the stories that actually do kind of matter. And then also on board, like we said earlier, was Aisha Bowe. And she's an American aerospace engineer. She's a STEM advocate and an entrepreneur. She's the founder of 2 companies, STEM Board and Lingo. And she's also the first Black woman to have confirmed travel with Blue Origin, and the 6th Black woman to cross the Kármán line, which is the boundary of space internationally recognized, and out of the 643 people who have crossed the line from the U.S. So 6 Black women in total, and there's been 643 people who have crossed that line from the U.S.
That's almost 1 out of every 100.
Yeah, it's insane. But yeah, no. So she also did phenomenal.
Wow, all of this is going like unnoticed. I actually do feel bad. Here's like Katy Perry. Hey guys, I'm in space. Let me kiss this. Make out with the ground, please.
Yeah, it's crazy. Going under the radar, and for no reason other than we're hyper fixating on the celebrities when we have these two really powerful and amazing women who went up there, and I felt like they needed a little bit of a spotlight.
Wow. But if you didn't tell me this, I would have not known. I thought they would just been average.
Exactly, because everyone just kind of are lumping them together with them, and I don't feel like we should be, because they deserve to be on that flight, and they deserved to go up there and do their jobs as astronauts. They deserve to be astronauts, quite frankly.
Wait, that reminded me. I saw like an interview clip. Someone was like, Katy Perry, you are now officially an astronaut.
Yeah, no.
I was like,
no,
what?
She's not.
What?
the two women I just named are astronauts. But yeah, no. So I highly suggest following them both on Instagram, or wherever. They're both very, very interesting people, and their stories are just so empowering.
Yeah.
And then moving on, as if I haven't yapped enough, we're gonna go straight into Gianna's 3 for 3. So I've got a book for you. Last week I'd mentioned a book, or last episode rather, I mentioned a book that was kind of giving like adult, like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson.
Yes,
So this book is actually by Holly Jackson. So this is Not Quite Dead Yet. And so this is the back of the book, or like the Goodreads summary. And so it says, in 7 days, Jet Mason will be dead. Jet is the daughter of one of the wealthiest families in Woodstock, Vermont. 27 years old, she's still waiting for her life to begin. I'll do it later, she always says. She has time. Until Halloween night, when Jet is violently attacked by an unseen intruder. She suffers a catastrophic head injury, and the doctor is certain that within a week, the injury will trigger a deadly aneurysm. Jet has never thought of herself as having enemies, but now she looks at everyone in a new light. Her family, her former best friend turned sister-in-law, her ex-boyfriend. She has, at most, 7 days, but as her condition deteriorates, she has only her childhood friend Billy for help. But nevertheless, she's absolutely determined to finally finish something. Jet is going to solve her own murder.
The way I just like got chills is crazy.
Yeah, and so that's publishing July 22nd, 2025. Again, the title is Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson.
Mystery. Oh
I love murder mysteries.
Literally.
They're so good. If you're ever wanting like a sidebar, a recommendation here, if you ever want to read really, really good murder mysteries that are a little bit older, the queen of murder mysteries, Agatha Christie, always has my heart.
Okay.
So if you're ever interested in that, I'd highly suggest anything Agatha Christie writes. And there's recently been a couple of movies about her books. So they're still relevant even today. So moving on to TV shows, we've got the U's final season. So 5 seasons basically of a psychopathic obsessive based on the novel by Caroline Kepnes of the same name. This is the final season, and this season's finale has fans saying it's the most unhinged yet. So all 10 episodes of the series premiered April 24th, so y'all can go watch it on Netflix. I've seen the first 2 seasons, and it's not that I'm not caught up because I don't like it, but I'm not caught up because I don't have time.
I was about to say, do you have time?
I don't have time.
Yeah.
But it's really, really good, and honestly, Joe makes me so uncomfortable.
Do you think I would, knowing me, do you think I would enjoy it?
I think you'd get the heebie-jeebies, but it's a kind of a little bit of a mix between like Dexter and like a rom-com.
Oh.
And the reason I say rom-com is because basically, basic premise of You is this dude, his name is Joe Goldberg. He essentially finds women and he falls in love with them, and then he has to have them. And then basically he changes everything about his personality to essentially make it so that he can have them. And then he'll go to deadly lengths to keep them.
Wait, it kind of sounds interesting.
Yes. And so he plays this good guy, like, attitude, and, like, he's, like, super, like, nonchalant, and he never hurt a fly. But then he literally, like, kills, like, 2 people in the first 5 episodes.
Spoiler. Just kidding. I don't know.
That's for the first season, which has been out for a couple years.
Then, yeah. No spoiler.
But, yeah, no. So I do recommend You. It's really good.
Okay, I'll watch it in the summer.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last thing I have for y'all is a movie. It's called Until Dawn. Some notable stars in it are Jordan Fisher and Brett Dalton. And so the plot I have from IMDb, it's a group of friends trapped in a time loop where mysterious foes chase and kill them in gruesome ways. Most survive until they have to survive until dawn to escape it. And so it's based on the 2015 video game of the same name called Until Dawn, and the movie was released April 25th. So this is out right now, and it's currently receiving mixed reviews, but hopefully, honestly, video game adaptations are so mixed. Like sometimes things are really good and sometimes things are really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically for Until Dawn, they go into this house. It's like a haunted house and whatnot. And basically different types of like creatures try to kill them. And then when they do kill them, they basically get reset. And then a different creature tries to kill them. And they only have a certain amount of time to get out of the house or to survive until dawn, because these creatures only come out at night to basically live. And if they don't get out by like the certain day mark, then they're trapped there and they die for real.
You know what this sounds like? Happy Death Day.
Yeah, so basically Happy Death Day was after Until Dawn.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So Happy Death Day was not I think it was 2018. Or somewhere around there. This video game premiered in 2015. So
yeah.
Art imitates life in this instance, I suppose. Or art imitates art, rather. But yeah. So those are my suggestions for y'all. A lot of murder mystery horror.
What does it say about you, actually?
Yeah. Well, I have a niche. I like them. I think they're interesting. I will be
sleeping with one eye open.
It's okay.
Trust. Anyways, moving on. Now it's time for Aiden's tea time. My favorite segment. Now, Gianna, I don't really have tea this week, actually.
Oh, okay.
Not much is happening.
Well, I mean, that's good.
Well, let me rephrase that. Not much is happening that's worth mentioning.
Oh, okay.
There you go. You know, there's like other like drama stuff, but at this point,
necessary tea.
It's just not necessary.
I see.
You drag something out for weeks, months, years.
Yeah,
it's just not worth it. Trust, I do like think about it, but when I'm by myself, but
yeah, stirring the pot, calculated.
Yeah, I'm like
calculated stirring.
One stir every week.
Yeah,
just like my weekly check-in.
Yes, for sure.
But are you on that side of TikTok where these guys will post themselves with words and phrases like, "You are so handsome," heart eye emoji, and "Oh my God, you're so handsome." Pretty much like compliments they would receive from females, and them saying like, "Duh, tell me something I didn't know," or "Girl, I've been T," and then them directly cutting to a clip of Saucy Santana being sassy.
I honestly have no clue what you're talking about because I don't have TikTok. So I'm not entirely familiar with this.
It's so funny.
But I'm sure that they're hilarious. They sound pretty funny.
So
but like, again, it does kind of fall into like those like dumb, unserious trends for sure.
It's very dumb and unserious. These men are up in them comments praising each other and agreeing with them. Meanwhile, all the females are like rolling their eyes saying sassy man apocalypse. And I'm like,
LOL.
Period. Now, Gianna. Wrapping up real quick our last episode of the semester.
Yes, last episode.
What has been your favorite bit or topic of discussion this semester?
There's been so many things that have been so fun and interesting.
Yeah.
Honestly, like our Coachella conversations have been pretty fun. But honestly, I think the moment that I laughed the most was probably the Minecraft episode.
That one was a good one.
I really liked that conversation that we had with Izzy. I thought it was pretty fun. And honestly, the first episode will always have a special place in my heart when we're trying to figure things out and getting started with our journey with Daily's Dose and really kind of getting into the groove of what we want to do with the podcast. So I'm cheating a little bit by saying multiple moments. But
I was like, that's not one.
but I can't pick one. I'm indecisive.
They're really so hard. Well, trust I can.
Okay.
Trust. Without hesitation. My favorite part definitely has to be the Justin and Haley and the Selena Gomez tea.
That was pretty interesting.
I love that tea just kept going.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, I love that episode. It was my favorite. I was probably like the most episode I was prepared for my segment, especially.
Yeah, no, and it was pretty interesting, and we had a very, very engaging conversation for sure. But yeah, so.
It's been nice talking.
I guess for the last time.
Ready?
Are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
All right. Adios from the dose. Bye, guys.
Bye.
We'll see you soon.